What's up, guys? Daryl from Smart Shooters, and today we are gonna do a special video on why people hate Glocks and is it valid? First, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Then make sure that you check out our website because we got lots of new merch on there. All right, we got Smart Shooters beanies, we got our I'd rather be at the gun range hoodie, because no matter where we are, I'm sure we'd rather be at the gun range. We got a bunch of new merch on there, so check out our website. I'll put the link in the description below. Check it out. Let's jump into why do people hate Glocks and is it valid? So the first thing I always hear about Glocks, they're ugly. Before I go in this video, I'm sure as a firearm instructor, some people assume I clear all my firearms, and they're correct. But for the YouTube trollers, and just as good practice, we want to make sure that we clear all firearms, okay? And even though I'm in my neighborhood, I got it pointed here and here as safe directions. Is it ugly? Yes. This is a Gen 5 Glock 48 MOS. I actually just picked this up last night. I like it because it's almost like a Glock 19, but half the width. It's a real skinny version. Single stack 10+1. Great firearm. I had one, but I traded it as part of my down payment on some acres of land. And so I was able to pick up another one when they came back around. I trust this. I throw this in the EDC. I was relying on my Glock 42 because I didn't have one of these as my when I don't want anybody to know I'm carrying type gun. And now it's back. Now I got 10 rounds of 9mm. Let's go. I'll talk about what I'm gonna do to this gun towards the end. But sticking with the first gripe, Glocks are ugly. Yes, it is. This has some styling. To be Gen 5, Gen 5 probably has the most styling. And I think the only real style that it has is the front serrations. I don't use front serrations. I don't like to press check like that. But this overall is pretty plain and ugly for 500 bucks. To spend that kind of money and only get something that looks like this, especially when you got other things out there like Canic, like the new Smith & Wesson with some of their texturing and some of the new curves and grooves they got. There's other companies out there that are making guns look good. That's not Glock's business, all right? They make guns look like this. So, gripe number one, Glocks are ugly. Is it valid? Yes. Gripe number two, Glocks have a horrible grip angle. Yes. Funny enough, it fits my hands rather nicely. But if I was the average person who was buying Glock for the first time, I would really think that this was awkward. It would be kind of awkward for a grip angle to be like this. As compared to any other firearm, like a 1911 style grip, or even some of the semi-automatic subcompact guns, most have better grips than Glocks. So, awkward grip. Valid complaint? Absolutely. The next gripe that I hear is that the trigger's not safe, the trigger pull is too light, and Glocks have no safety. It is true that Glocks do not have an external feature safety. All right, the trigger blade in the trigger is the only safety externally that it has. It does have a firing pin safety on the inside of here that holds that firing pin back from hitting the bottom of that round and making the gun fire, okay? So that's why you can drop this or anything like that and it won't just bang. That firing pin safety is in there doing its job. But as far as is the trigger pull too light, let me pull with this finger so you guys can watch it travel. There's the wall. I would say no. It is a nice trigger. But as far as being too light, there's still a decent amount of take up if you guys could see it. Not as much as most Glocks. Gen 5, they did a much better job with the triggers. But it still got a decent amount of take up. There's the wall, then it fires. I don't think that that's light enough for just a whole bunch of super negligent discharges or anything like that. But you have to remember that you are your firearm safety. You're the number one safety when it comes to firearms. Not the gun, not the thumb safety, not the grip safety. You are your number one safety. So, to me, is that gripe valid? Nah. The next gripe that I hear is that Glocks require a bunch of upgrades and everything to make them good guns. And to that I say, nah. This I probably will rock stock. But the flip side of that is it's an EDC rotation, okay? So anything that I EDC, I never ever put aftermarket anything on. I carry it just how it came, all right? Because God forbid if there's ever any issues, I never, ever, ever want for somebody not to back their product because I've altered it in some kind of way. And likewise, I don't want a aftermarket product to fail, which there is a possibility of it failing when I need it the most. I trust Glock. Glock is known for its reliability. It's been a duty pistol for law enforcement and things of that nature. So the argument of you have to upgrade it to make it a good gun, I don't think that's true. What I do think is true is that you should upgrade it to make it yours as long as it's not your EDC. When it comes to guns I upgrade, I only upgrade guns that I'm just gonna play with them at the range. I'm gonna have fun with them with the fellas, or something I want to make mine, make it original. I am a gun connoisseur, so that's that. But I never ever would alter something I'm gonna carry. I would find the right gun that had everything that I was looking for, which is why my primary EDC is the Walther PDP. It was a Glock 19, but the Walther PDP, frankly, was just better, and it had better features that I wanted, a better price point, better grip, better trigger, better serrations on the slide. So if my hands got wet, bloody, whatever, I could still manipulate the slide. It came with all those things that I needed. So that's why that's my primary EDC. I don't do upgrades to those. But as far as having to upgrade Glocks to make them good guns, not at all. Are there guns that suck as far as Glock goes? Yeah. I feel like any Gen 3 sucks. Like Gen 3s need upgrades ASAP. Therefore, they're immediately disqualified from my EDC conversation. I don't do Gen 3s. I'm not a fan. But do you have to upgrade a Glock in order to make it a good gun? No. And we'll run this stock. I'm going to do a 1,000-round review on it so you guys can see. But I don't think you need to upgrade these in order to make them good, reliable firearms. The next gripe that I hear is that Glocks are overrated. That's another reason people say they hate Glocks. They're super overrated. Is a Glock's reliability specifically overrated? I would say yes. I agree that that's valid. Glock, in my personal journey, as a firearm owner, as a firearm instructor, Glock has proven to be no more reliable than a Walther, than a CZ, I can't say, I was about to say a SIG, but the P320 let us down. And the P365, when it first came out, had some firing pin issues. But pound for pound, ounce for ounce, the Glock has proven to me to be no more reliable than my PDP, than my P365 XL, anything like that. It is specific things about the Glock, which is why it's always been my go-to firearm, such as parts availability, somewhat customer service, although no firearm company has better customer service than SIG. So shout out to SIG. Things like that made me, and then they do fit better in my hands. I have larger hands. I feel like a lot of Glocks serve better with people with larger hands. So is the reliability overrated? I'm starting to feel like it is. Like, I feel like firearms are so hit and miss. Like, I know a lot of people were pissed off at my Canic video when I said why I sold all my Canics and then switched back over to Glock. The thing about that video is I was trying to get people to think, but Canic is, to me, just as reliable as Glock in terms of parts, in terms of putting 1,000 rounds through and zero malfunctions. I've done that with several Canics. I've also had Canics where I couldn't get through a magazine without a malfunction. I think guns are always hit and miss, and everybody's gonna argue for their gun, right? Everybody's gonna say, well, I got a Canic and I shot 20 million rounds through it and I had zero issues. And that's cool because that's your Canic. The one that I had couldn't get through a magazine. I think the same is true with Glock. I know I have had zero malfunctions out of my Gen 4 Glock 19. And I easily got like 7,000 rounds through it. However, I know people who have the exact same Gen 4 Glock 19 and they had issues straight out the box. So that all depends. Like, guns are so hit and miss. They're mass produced. Anything that's mass produced is gonna have some sort of fault somewhere in the production line. But is Glock's reliability overrated? I say yes. The last gripe that I hear about Glocks is that they cost too much. Is this valid? In my world, no. But cost is subjective to whoever's making the statement. If your budget only allows you to buy a $200 gun, anything that's not a High Point or a Sky, you're going to say costs too much. And the argument that it's all the same, if I pull the trigger, it goes bang, is trash, all right? Don't let people convince you of that, because if that was the case, everybody would just buy the cheapest pistol possible. It's not just fanboys that buy Glocks, all right? There are plenty of people. The local township that I'm in, the police department uses Glocks. I mean, Glocks have proven themselves to be a reliable gun. I won't say the most reliable, but they've proven to be a reliable gun. So I've never paid, even MOS, even in the pandemic, I feel like I've never paid more than $750 for a Glock. And that was my Glock 40, the 10 millimeter long slide, MOS. But that was the most expensive one I've bought. I'm not saying that there might not be a more expensive Glock, but I haven't seen it. And I bought that during like the height of the pandemic. So realistically, should I have paid $750? Probably not. I probably could have got it for like $700, but it was what it was. I wanted it, and so I got it. In the gun world, that's not real money at all. That's really not expensive whatsoever. So I feel like people have to switch their mindset up and think about the fact that a firearm is going to protect your life. The amount of money you invest in a firearm says a lot about the amount that you're willing to invest in protecting yourself. So I'm not saying go buy the most expensive gun, but Glocks are really like middle of the road. They're not super expensive at all. So I say BS, no validity to that. Glocks are no more expensive than any other quality brand firearm. Well, that was it. Let me know if you agree in the comments, or what other Glock gripes do you guys have about Glocks? Let me know. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure y'all check out the website. I'm going to drop it here. Check out our merch. I love this. I'd rather be at the gun range hoodie. But we got some other designs on there as well. Check us out. I will catch you guys on the next video. Peace.